Hello, this is Rick from MathX, and today we'll be doing number 22 from the AMC 8 of 2019. Now, once again, this problem is a Final 5 problem, number 22, and it isn't really that hard, at least not as hard as I would expect a 22 to be. However, because of its high ranking on the AMC 8 test, many people probably didn't get to it and solve it. So that's what I'll be going over today. Without any further ado, let's get to it. A store increased the original price of a shirt by a certain percent and then decreased the new price by the same amount. Given that the resulting price was 84% of the original price, what percent was the price increased and decreased? So let's try to see what happens here in terms of math. So we have the original price of a shirt. Let's call it S. And then we increase the price of the shirt by a certain percent. Now, we don't know what this percent is. So let's denote this percent as P. To increase the price of a shirt by P percent, we would do S times 1 plus P, where this P percent would be converted to a decimal, added to 1, and then multiplied by S to increase it by P percent. Then to decrease that value itself by P percent, we'd multiply it by 1 minus P percent. Because, as I've said before, P is our percent. So in this operation, we're going to convert this P percent into a decimal, subtract it from 1, and then multiply it by these two numbers, which is our P increased value of S. And then, ultimately, after doing all this, we're going to be left with something that was 84% of the original price. So 84%, or 0.84 in decimal terms, of S. Well, the first thing you can do here is get rid of the parentheses between S and 1 plus P, and then 1 minus P. Because, we can multiply S times 1 plus P. Sure, we can do that. But looking at difference of squares in this case, we realize 1 plus P and 1 minus P, if we multiply these two terms together, it's going to make the computations easy for us. So instead, we use associative property to group 1 plus P and 1 minus P together. And we get that S times 1 plus P times 1 minus P, 1 plus P and 1 minus P in parentheses, will give us still 84% of S, or 0.84 of S, doing the decimal conversion of 84%. Then we can use difference of squares to multiply these two together. So we get 1 plus P times 1 minus P to give us 1 minus P squared. And this can be done because when we FOIL this out, we're going to get 1 times minus P plus P times minus P squared. And the plus P and minus P will cancel each other out, leaving us with just 1 minus P squared. So we get S times 1 minus P squared will give us 0.84 S. Now if we FOIL this out again, we get S minus S P squared would give us 0.84 S. Well, bringing the 0.84 S to the other side and subtracting it from S, we get 0.16 S is equal to SP squared. Now we can just divide this by S in both sides. We get P squared is equal to 0.16. Taking the square root of that, we get P is equal to 0.4. Well, wait, there's no 0.4 in this. Well, that's because we kept P as a decimal. But if we convert P back to a percent, we get P is equal to 40% by multiplying by 100. So ultimately, we see that E is the right answer in this case. Once again, for a final pi problem, this problem doesn't require much thought. As long as you write down what's going on in this case and do the algebra correctly, you're going to get the right answer. In this problem, you don't have to think any form outside the box. You just have to generate the right equation. And this kind of stuff only can happen from practice. So, next time you come across a problem like this, think about the algebra. Think about how this would look like if you wrote it out as an equation. And just use your well-practiced skills to solve for the terms you want.